have defiled the seat of American democracy. To those who engaged in the acts of violence and destruction, you do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay.
From the USA Radio News Ohio Bureau, I'm Dan Naraki.
3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition.
SpaceX kicked off what is expected to be another launch-packed year by delivering a Turkish communications satellite to orbit Thursday night. This is USA Radio News.
Attention business owners body slammed by overwhelming debt. If your business is in trouble, hassled by creditors, if you're frustrated, finally fed up with big business bailouts while your business has been left for dead, please listen close. There's a brand new fast-track bankruptcy. Some have even called it the biggest small business bailout in American history. Designed for individuals and their businesses. And look, almost no one knows about this yet. My attorney wasn't even aware of it. The truth is, beating the system has never been easy because it's rigged in a sense against the little guy. But here's the jaw-dropping news nobody's talking about. They've literally just changed the system so that you can beat it, but only if you understand how the new game has to be played. Find out if you qualify at pocketsoflight.com. This government-backed small business repair program is still legal, but may not be renewed after the election. Fight back fairly, fight back ethically at pocketsoflight.com.
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY, only $4.99. Plus, DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
Hey, I didn't know it rained last night.
Oh, it didn't. Why do you say that?
Because little Johnny's in the backyard playing in that big mud puddle.
Did you leave the hose on?
No, the neighbor borrowed it yesterday.
Wait, is that the side where the septic...
Johnny, get out of there!
Having septic problems? At Mike Scott Plumbing, we can make those septic worries disappear. We can pump your septic tank, repair your drain field, and, if needed, even install a whole new system. At Mike Scott Plumbing, we don't take crap from anyone. We take it from everyone. 237-2888. Mike Scott Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it.
Started in 1975. It's Yendel's Building Materials. Whether you're making repairs, adding a room, or building a house, Yendel's constantly delivers excellent service and top quality materials and many of the tools and hardware you need to get the job done. At Yendel's, they take pride in supplying their customers with new and innovative products. Yendel's experience in truss design, manufacturing, and component materials is second to none. 834 North Magnolia Avenue in Ocala, 732-3000. Stop by to experience the difference.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. Gene and Debbie thank you for another successful year and to wish you and yours a year ahead full of health, faith, and compassion. In addition to our pasture mowing, we also offer fence line spraying for weed control and rototilling for your winter gardens. We are family owned and operated, licensed and insured, and farm ready. Powell Gene, Gene at yahoo.com. 352-629-2440. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. 352-629-2440. Gene is a proud United States veteran.
Brick City Creative Group is your one-stop multimedia destination. With the experience our team has, not many can really tell a story like we do. Specializing in live broadcasting, promo reels, film, and social media. No matter the story, we've got you covered with some of the best professionals in the industry. Your story is our mission. Find us on the web at brickcitycreativegroup.com or on Facebook at Brick City Creatives.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hi, this is Becky at Hello Gorgeous Salon. It's time to get that new look started. Let's get rid of those sun-damaged ends and faded out color and get into something rich and vibrant. Humidity is not your hair's friend. It causes your hair to capture moisture and leaves it looking dry and unhealthy. Hello Gorgeous is a certified Brazilian blowout salon. We can tame those locks, leaving your hair healthy and shiny with a Brazilian smoothing treatment. So let us help you make a great first impression. Call us today to set your appointment at Hello Gorgeous. Our number is 352-351-5358. Again, that's 352-351-5358. And don't forget, we also do men and children's cuts too. 351-5358. Hello Gorgeous is conveniently located in the heart of downtown Ocala. So call today and set up your appointment at Hello Gorgeous Salon at 351-5358. That's 351-5358.
Hello, gorgeous.
0 Hour Life Center, Marion County's recovery community organization. The time for change is now. Call 352-765-4943.
Now you did it. Are you completely insane? He's back. He, who must not be named. The man, the myth. The only guy in Ocala to eat his own weight in fried pickles. Twice. Now, you asked for it. Sorta. Live and in person. It's Tom Schmitz.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks with Tom Schmitz on a Friday. It's an overcast Friday. High in the upper 60s today. Low in the low 40s. Tomorrow in the 50s will be the high. We're 2 days removed now from the storming of the Capitol building. And prosecutors, I would think, probably have enough evidence to criminally charge people who incited the violence. Who are we talking about? Well, U.S. Attorney Michael Sherwin, the top federal prosecutor in Washington, told reporters Thursday, prosecutors are examining everyone who played a role in Wednesday's riots and have not ruled out the president or any of his staff. We're looking at all the actors here and anyone that had a role in it, and if the evidence fits the elements of the crime, they're going to be charged. That's right. They may charge Donald Trump with inciting violence after his speech Wednesday that he urged his supporters to march to the Capitol to tell them that they were angry about the election. President's comments came shortly before a mob bashed through barricades, windows, and doors. Police officers were injured. 5 people have now died because of the violence. There was a temporary occupation of the Capitol building. And the interim dean of Cornell Law School and an expert on criminal conspiracy law said if you incite someone to commit a crime, you're just as responsible as they are for committing the crime. This is Jen's David Olin. Rudy Giuliani, he might not be immune from it either. His statement during the same rally calling for a trial by combat to reserve fraud disputes was particularly egregious and could make him especially vulnerable to charges. Frederick Lawrence, author of Punishing Hate, an ex-dean at George Washington School of Law, that's his opinion. And by the way, he worked for Giuliani as an assistant U.S. attorney in New York in the 80s. He says the charges of imminent lawless activity could be coming against his former boss. He said what he was saying, he was didn't have any pleasure about it. But if you say that this will be trial by combat, it looks like you're inciting a crowd to use violence, said Lawrence. He's also a former president of Brandeis University and a current Georgetown University law lecturer. So he says he thinks Giuliani crossed the line. So, and like I said, acting U.S. Attorney Michael Sherwin, the top federal prosecutor in Washington, said they're examining every person who played a role in Wednesday's riots, and that does not rule out the president or his staff. So could a sitting president face charges? No, but once he's out of office, he could face charges. And now there's a big call. I'm sure this is going to gain legs, because there were points in that speech where I went, "Oof, I don't know how to say." I'm not real sure how to said that. And Rudy Giuliani, when he got up and he banged the lectern and said "trial by combat," I was like, "Did Rudy Giuliani just tell everybody listening that it was time to fight physically to overturn this election?" Because that's what I took with trial by combat. 622-9622 is the number to call. I know there are a lot of angry people, okay? I have a very good friend of mine that said, "Tom, what's the use? Why the hell do I even vote anymore if my vote's not going to be counted properly?" And whether you agree with that or not, there are over 70 million people that voted for President Donald Trump. And a vast majority of those think that their election was stolen from them. Now, Some of that's because Donald Trump has been saying that rhetoric since the day after he lost. But there's also video evidence that looks suspicious. I mean, we did see Georgia poll workers after a poll closed that ushered everybody out of the building, and then they went back to feeding the machine with ballots. So there is some suspicious stuff that has happened. But now it looks like the federal prosecutors are looking at to see who to charge for inciting these riots, and the federal prosecutor refuses to rule out Donald Trump or any of his staff as culpable in these riots. Hi, caller, who's this?
Hi, this is Sonny. You know, it's amazing how there's such a double standard for everything lately in this country. How about all the times when Maxine Waters got out there and said...
Should have been prosecuted. 100%.
The people.
100%.
Just threatening people. And nothing was ever said. How about the other people that do the same thing?
You're right, Sonny. Sonny, you're entirely correct.
Something like this happens because Donald Trump said something about rallying and whatever. He's guilty of a major crime.
Maxine Waters.
Such a double standard that these people are using, that the only ones that should be brought up on trial are the people accusing him. That's the way I see it.
Maxine Waters, Sonny.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Sonny. Maxine Waters, when she said a year and a half, 2 years ago, when you see a Republican congressman or somebody out in a restaurant, you go up to them and you intimidate them, or you do whatever it takes to get them out of there, to let them know that we don't want them around. She should have been prosecuted. I have no problem with that. Maxine Waters incited people, and they did. They went into restaurants and drove people away. Sarah Huckabee, who was she was the press secretary, her and her husband had to leave a Virginia restaurant because people assaulted them. Was it Rand Paul or Paul Ryan? I think it was Rand Paul. Him and his wife leaving the White House. They had a meeting at the White House. He was assaulted and accosted by anti-Trump people on the sidewalk in Washington, D.C. as he was leaving the White House. No charges ever filed. They're talking about how they're looking at all the video to make sure they get everybody responsible and arrested for their role in storming the Capitol. And I got no problem with that. Just as soon as you start arresting everybody that's on the Target and Walmart videos for the looting and burning of these stores. I mean, what about the people who burnt down a Wendy's in Atlanta? Wendy's didn't have anything to do. There was a guy asleep at a drive-thru, drunk, passed out asleep at a drive-thru. As the cops tried to remove him, he got belligerent and fighting with the cops. He subsequently got shot and killed in the Wendy's parking lot. Wendy's had nothing to do with this. That guy chose to drive into the Wendy's and pull into the drive-thru and pass out. The franchisee owner of that Wendy's had nothing to do with the incident that happened. It just happened to be misfortunate that happened in their parking lot. Their business, their livelihood got burnt to the ground and put 30 or 40 people out of work. Nobody ever chose, people, here's the girl that did what happened to her? She was charged. Where's the news on what happened to her? There is a very big, I've seen people say, you should have just shot the people once they came in the Capitol. Just shoot them all. Democratic pundits, media people who said, just shoot them all. Where were you at when they were looting and rioting Targets and Walmarts? Just shoot them all. Why didn't that work? Why is looting? Oh, because you don't understand, Tom. You have white privilege, so you don't understand what we're facing. And so when it's a powder keg and it finally explodes, and we have to let all our energy out, well, we do things like looting and rioting. Who does? Criminals. That's who does it. The same type of criminals that stormed the Capitol. I don't care whether you're white, black, purple, green, speak Spanish, speak German, speak English, speak Swahili. Doesn't matter to me. If you break into stores, you loot, riot, steal, and burn. If you break into the Capitol and you riot and break things in the Capitol, all of you go to jail. Or you get shot. Sorry about your luck. Somebody says, Tom, you don't feel for that girl. You don't feel for the girl that got shot in the neck. She shouldn't have been there. She shouldn't have been rioting. Shouldn't have been trying to break into the Capitol. Do stupid things, win stupid prizes. But I also think the guy that, passed out in the parking lot of the Wendy's and then fought with cops and tried to grab a cop's gun, got shot, do stupid things, win stupid prizes. A criminal is a criminal. I don't care what your color is, what your creed is, what your nationality is, what your gender is. I don't care. If you break the law, you're a criminal, and you should be dealt with the same way across the board. And for people to say that these rioters at the Capitol need to go to jail and you should have just shot them all, well, where was that at when they were rousting the Best Buys and burning down Best Buys and going through Targets and tearing up Targets? When they were tearing up police precincts and burning them to the ground? When they were taking over an entire downtown of a metropolitan city in Seattle? Where was your outrage then? And by the way, if you look, most of the demonstrators this summer and most of the demonstrators 2 days ago that broke into the Capitol, I don't want to upset anybody here, but the reality of the situation is all of the same ethnicity. Most of the looters and rioters this year, and especially the ones that burnt police stations and took over downtown cities for the Black Lives Matter movement and for, Antifa, most of those were Caucasian. The rioters 2 days ago, most of them Caucasian. You know what they all were? Criminals, every one of them. And for you to think otherwise is asinine. Sonny's entirely correct. There's a double standard going on in this country. If you're looting and rioting for something we think is the media, and the media is to blame here, culpable. Me, the group that I'm part of, is culpable. Because they agree with Black Lives Matter. They agree with Antifa. They hate Donald Trump. So anything that's done to bring a negative light to Donald Trump is okay. So when you tear up cities like Seattle and Portland and you burn down police, you do that. Well, it's because look at the environment that the president has created with nobody getting after the police and everything. It's an environment of hate he's created, and we're just rebelling against his environment of hate. So it's okay then to burn down buildings. It's okay to beat people up and leave them prone laying in the street. It's okay to hit people in the head with skateboards and sticks. It's okay to come by when people are peacefully rallying for Trump and snatching their flags from them and beating them with their own flags. That's okay. But when you storm the Capitol, shoot them all. Can't have it both ways, folks. Can't have it both ways. And that's a part, if you ask everybody yesterday, 2 days ago at the Capitol, some of their angst is exactly what I'm talking about. The double standard of as long as it's something, because you see how the media played it. The media is condemning these rioters. They're playing it over and over. CNN said when that police precinct was burning up out west, CNN, literally the headline on the bottom of the thing, and I saw this again yesterday, the headline on the bottom scrawl was coming across, it goes, fiery but otherwise peaceful protest, and they got the police station burning behind them. Fiery but otherwise peaceful. That's how CNN, that's right, CNN reported on the burning of a police precinct last year. Fiery, but otherwise peaceful. Get out of here with that garbage. It's because they were rallying against a guy you didn't like or against ideals you didn't like. So you sugarcoated it to make it seem not as bad as it actually was. What happened 2 days ago at the Capitol was deplorable. Should have never happened. It was disgusting. It made me sick to think that's where we had evolved as Americans. But it made me no more sick or no more disgusted than watching a police precinct burn. Or watching Wendy's, the owner of it had nothing to do with the situation that took place in the parking lot. Watch it burn. Or the numerous retail outlets that were looted as rioters broke the windows and stole items. Just as disgusted with that as I was the Capitol building. And if you're not, you're part of the problem. If the riots of this summer and the riot at the Capitol, if they don't disgust you, you're part of the problem. Which means, I'm going to go out on a limb here and hello, Captain Obvious. The media is part of the problem. And by the way, it's not just the left media, it's the right media too. Because they tell their story their way. There's no more objective media. Hell, I got my own agenda. I'll be the first to admit it. At least I'll admit it. There's an agenda behind the things I talk about, sure. Things that aggravate me. I tell you what my thoughts are. That's my agenda. I try to give it to you objectively as possible, but there's some of my angst that bleeds into it, I'm sure. The media is a big problem in what's going on in America today. Both sides, because both sides are spewing hatred and trying to rally a base using hate. I've had in the last 2 days, I've had over 100 people defriend me on Facebook. Not because of anything I've said to them, not because of anything I put on Facebook, because I don't put inflammatory stuff for the most part on my Facebook page. It's just not worth the trolls putting negative stuff on my Facebook. I have a pulpit. It's called this microphone. So I don't need to go out on Facebook and, tell you what I think. I can tell you what I think right here. But I've had over 100 people defriend me, and 6 of them, 6, are friends of mine that I've had for since I was a teenager or early college age. I called one of them yesterday, got a voicemail. Never have I gotten a voicemail. When I called this person, they pick up. Called them yesterday, got the voicemail, and immediately followed by a text message. We need to evaluate where we are as friends. That's all I got. We need to evaluate where we are as friends. Now, he's a big-time important person in the Democratic Party in the state of Georgia. I guess he has caught some of what I've said. He put on his Facebook page that he didn't like that some of his friends were embarrassed about Georgia and how Georgia was. He put on Facebook, especially my friend in Florida, that for years has said Georgia was his home. I knew he was talking about me. Everybody else might not know it. I knew who he was talking about. I didn't respond. But that's what I'm talking about. People are choosing sides, and they're letting the 60-second blurb from the media help them make their decisions on what side to choose. How about choose this side? How about we're Americans? Choose that side. How about that? There's a novel idea. How about choose the side of American? Seems to work for me. I don't know why it wouldn't work for everybody. But prosecutors law scholars, have said prosecutors likely have enough evidence to criminally charge President Donald Trump and former New York Governor Rudy Giuliani with inciting violence after their speeches Wednesday as they urged supporters to march on the Capitol and let their voices be heard about they want this election reversed. What happened after that was disgusting, but no more disgusting than a police precinct being overrun and burnt to the ground, police cars being set on fire with Molotov cocktails, businesses being looted and then burned. That is just as disgusting as what happened 2 days ago at the Capitol. And what happened 2 days ago at the Capitol happened in about 4 or 5 hours. What I'm talking about, the disgusting looting of police stations and burning of police stations and looting and burning of stores, Molotov cocktails thrown at police and all, what I'm talking about lasted for months. Where was your outrage then, ABC, CBS, NBC? Where was your outrage then, CNN, MSNBC, The View? I'm so tired of the View is all of a sudden political commentary. Like Whoopi Goldberg knows a damn thing about politics. Heather McCain yesterday, this is a disgrace and people should be removed from office. You know, it's a disgrace, the fact that 5 of y'all sit around a table and think we give a damn about what your opinion is. Get me fired up here on a Friday morning. I was disgusted with what happened at the Capitol. I'm not going to argue that. I was disgusted with the speech Donald Trump gave. I was disgusted with the speech Rudy Giuliani gave. I think they purposely whipped this crowd into a frenzy. I think that. You're not going to change my opinion. That's what I think. I saw the speeches with my own eyes. I watched them. Then I watched what happened directly following those speeches, and it disgusts me. And I go on YouTube, and I watch the speeches given by BLM leaders. And I watch speeches given by, the people on the left that were in Seattle, and we're in Portland, and we're Oakland, and we're in Atlanta. And I watch them exciting a crowd into violence just as I saw Wednesday. But they did it for months and have not faced any kind of prosecution. But now the media is all over. We better charge Giuliani and the president. If Donald Trump had any sense, I don't know if he's had a break or what, I don't know. But if he had any wherewithal about him, he would resign his office. And I tell you why. Not because he's done, something that, like Richard Nixon, deserves resignation. But if he resigns, Mike Pence becomes president, and then Mike Pence does the Gerald Ford and pardons Donald Trump. Because believe me, as soon as he's not a sitting president anymore, there are going to be people countrywide trying to prosecute him for the same exact things that they will not prosecute people on the left for. Maxine Waters should be in jail for inciting riotous actions by her comments about go and if you see somebody on the right, go and disrupt their dinner. Go get in their face. Run them out of public places. Let them know we don't want them here. What is different about what she said and what Donald Trump said on Wednesday? Why isn't Maxine Waters facing federal prosecution? Answer me that. So, Sonny, you're 100% correct. It's all disgusting, and everybody on both sides that broke the law or did anything to incite riotous behavior, looting, burning of buildings, destruction of property, they all should face federal prosecution. Every one of them. We're going to take a break. When we come back, it is Dumb Crook Friday. I got some Dumb Crook news, but I want to go over a list of restaurants in Marion County, show you what happened in 2020 with this pandemic and how some restaurants are that were great restaurants are no longer here in Marion County. We'll talk about that next. WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pride.
President Trump, in a video on Thursday, condemned the mob that violently stormed the U.S. Capitol one day earlier, saying the rioters defiled the seat of American democracy.
I would like to begin by addressing the heinous attack on the United States Capitol. Like all Americans, I am outraged by the violence, lawlessness, and mayhem. I immediately deployed the National Guard and federal law enforcement to secure the building and expel the intruders. America is and must always be a nation of law and order. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. To those who engaged in the acts of violence and destruction, you do not represent